Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. Now that my two obligatory informative videos are done for the day, it's time to talk about current events in the online fitness community, and we're going to talk about V-Shrunk, because it's someone I haven't talked about in a couple months, haven't looked into what he's doing. Thought I would check over on his channel for a little bit of comedy today, and sure enough I found some. So let me put on my +5 hat of weaponsmithing, work on skilling up my crafting a little bit, and let's talk about this. Now, I find it ironic that V-Shrunk, or Vince, or whatever his name is, we call him V-Shrunk, he's going to give advice on how to grow your chest. Now, just going to put this out there. A lot of YouTubers that people would look at and think, you know, I want to get certain types of advice from this person. Now, a reasonable person would look at me, look at my last DEXA scan. I was at 23% body fat. Now I'm cutting now, but 23% body fat. I would probably, I'm going to venture to say, I would probably not be your first choice of people to come to say, hey, Jason, how can I get to 3 to 4% body fat and get bodybuilder shredded and contest ready? Do you got any tips for me? I'm going to say I probably would not be your first choice for that. Reasonable person wouldn't say, this is a guy I want to get advice from on how to get shredded to the bone. Right? They're probably not going to do that. They're probably not going to look at Strap-On Destiny and say, you know what? This is a guy who I want to get advice from on how to grow taller. I want to get 6'5", and I want to learn how to pick up girls. Right? They're probably not going to go to him for that. It's going to venture to say. They're probably not going to look at Cali Muscle and watch his channel for 10 minutes and go, you know what? I'm going to get advice from this guy on how to get a top score on my SAT so I can try to get into an Ivy League university. Cali Muscle probably not going to be your first choice for that. So that being said, why in the hell would anybody go to Vince, who has a washboard chest, on how to grow their chest? Now, the funny part there is that it's really obvious why he doesn't have a chest. I watched this video, this newest one, where he's talking about how to recruit less delt and more upper chest, and he says that he struggled with chest development his whole life after, you know, breaking his collarbone in early adolescence and everything. He struggled with chest development, still struggles to this day. It's very obvious why he struggles with chest development if you watch his training. If you watch his training, he actually doesn't know how to work his chest at all. And I'm one of those guys who say, look, most of you kids out there, most of you guys starting out, you shouldn't be worried about individual body parts at all. I understand if you're going to go into bodybuilding. I understand you maybe want bigger biceps. You have some muscle you want to grow. But when you're building a base, you need to worry about just getting overall size. All right, you need to get good at basic exercises, the bench press, the chin up, the squat, you know, basic exercises. I always tell most of you guys, in fact, I put all your efforts into 5 exercises. Start the big 5. Squat, bench, deadlift, standing press, weighted chin-ups. You get real good at all 5 of those, build yourself a nice solid base, then you can go on and do whatever you want. But you're not going to have anything particularly lagging. You're going to have a good amount of muscle on your whole body if you do that. You don't need to worry about, am I recruiting this muscle? You recruited everything if you did those exercises correctly. Then you got guys like him who are tiny, who have all this obsession over individual body parts that they can't still seem to make grow. But they've never built a base on a basic exercise. And the thing is, I mean, I'll be honest, when I see V-Shrunk, what pops in my head is this is a guy who does nothing but bicep and delt isolation work. Like, it literally looks to me like he has never benched heavy in his life. He's never done a heavy squat. He's never done heavy overhead pressing. Apparently, he does a fair amount of partial body weight pull-ups, but I doubt he does any of them weighted. I guarantee you he probably can't take 300 total pounds on a chin-up and do a dead hang pull-up. You know, his body weight plus weights to get anywhere near 300, he probably can't do one. Like, he's not someone who, I think this is someone who trains harder, is well developed. He doesn't have any sort of muscle or strength. And it's obvious when you watch him train that that's true. He can't lift any weight. You know, and the thing is, it's very obvious when you watch the chest training why he has no chest. Like, he has to actually go out of his way to make sure he doesn't have chest development. He's sitting here saying, I struggle with chest development, and it's like, because you don't do any exercises that work your chest? I'm going to venture to say that's why. Have you guys watched him bench press? He stops halfway down. How do you get a big chest benching? You come down and you pause on your chest. Full range of motion with the scapula retracted, you pause on your chest. That's the best way to grow your overall pecs. Best way to grow your overall pecs. Guys who do a lot of touch and go or half reps, a lot of bouncing on their chest so they don't come all the way down and pause and explode, tend to struggle with their chest. Those are the guys who say the bench press doesn't work that great for my chest. Well, no shit. No shit. Why don't you try pausing? Maybe you're not strong enough to do the 275 you're doing reps with. Why don't you drop down to 225 and pause so you can do 5 reps with a pause at 225? Chest will start growing. Or you could do some weighted dips, get a good stretch at the bottom. And you know the other thing, what builds the upper chest besides that? Because that'll grow some of your upper chest. I don't know, how about overhead pressing? See anybody out there who's strong on a full range of motion overhead press? Doesn't have well-developed upper chest? Of course not. Of course not. Goes with the territory. In fact, if you can you guys build up to where you can pause bench 300 pounds, you can do a standing press with 200 pounds of strict press, you're probably going to have a well-developed chest. Hell, throw in some weighted dips and some weighted chin-ups to finish it all off. You'll be good to go. You probably will never have to do a fly unless you need to compete in bodybuilding and the chest becomes a weak point for you. You know, but most of you guys aren't going to try to be pro bodybuilders. You just want a good-sized chest. Well, that'll do it for you. But you watch guys like him, what does he do? Partials on the bench press. Skips the bottom, and he doesn't even use a real weight. Like most guys come halfway down so they can show off and they can use 150 pounds more than what they're actually capable of benching. Like a guy who can really only bench 205 wants to have 350 on the bar. That's why they do that shit. No, he does it with lightweight. Like he doesn't even have 150 pounds on the bar, let alone doing 150 more than he can do. That's why he doesn't have a chest. And then he does all these different things. Remember that stuff that even Jeff Cavalier ripped on where he was turning his body? There's no working the chest. And then what's he do today? What's his key? He's like, because you know your front delts do all the work. So instead he creates a totally complex convoluted cable fly that still works the front delts. It's still front delt dominant. Comes down, he's like, I come down and squeeze here, then squeeze it and bring it up. What's that bringing up do? Anybody? That's front delt. He's basically doing a lateral raise with the cable and believing that because he's squeezing his chest, that the chest is actually moving weight. Guys, isometrics do not produce the same hypertrophy that moving a weight does. All right, that's been found in multiple studies. Yes, you can grow from isometric training, but it needs to be really heavy. In other words, you might get some muscle growth in your chest from doing some flies with cables. If you have someone help you, 2 guys spot you, and bring the cables in with the whole stack that's double what you're capable of actually using, and you just hold it in the middle, you might get a little bit of chest growth from that. You know, if you're using the entire stack and you can hold it for like 10 seconds. But you're going to get an even bigger chest if you actually move some weight with your chest through a full range of motion. I mean, isometrics can build some muscle, but when you're just doing it with lightweight and squeezing, just because you squeeze a muscle doesn't mean that it's engaging in resistance training. So he comes in, squeezes, and he has to use a lighter weight because he's doing all this convoluted method and brings it in and thinks that squeezing is magically going to make his chest grow instead of saying, I don't know, maybe I should get really good at pause benching or incline benching with a pause all the way down or weighted dips. Instead of that, he's like, no, I'm going to do these flies. And then I'm going to turn him into a front lateral raise because he doesn't want to work his front delts. You just turned it into a front delt exercise. And it's amazing. The guy still wonders why he struggles with chest development. At least I don't wonder why I'm not shredded. You know, it's real simple, guys. All right, you guys want to wait for it? I eat a lot of food. Whoa, let me say that again. I know why I'm not at an ultra low body fat, even though I train every day. I squat every day. I train hard. I do conditioning work. You guys know why I'm not ripped? I don't have to wonder about it. I eat a lot of food. What? Yeah, eating a lot of food can slow down fat loss. In fact, eating a lot of food can make you gain fat. Who would have thought? The miracles never cease. See how easy that is? I can look at him and there's no wonder why the guy doesn't have a chest. He doesn't train his chest. That's why he struggles with chest development and chest activation, because he doesn't do exercises that work the chest with any meaningful resistance. And the ones that he does do that should actually work the chest, he half-asses them and refuses to do the parts of the exercise in the manner that would actually cause the most chest growth. It's pretty straightforward. And yet here he is giving advice to other guys on the methods that he's using to not build his chest that aren't working. He's got delts. He's got delts because every exercise he does is a delt exercise. Go figure. Amazing how that works, huh? See, the muscles that you actually work tend to grow. The muscles that you don't actually work and you put meaningful workloads on don't tend to grow as effectively. It's a really easy explanation, isn't it? But here he is giving advice on how to build a chest when he's struggling with his chest after years and years of training and still has no chest. I don't know, learn to bench press correctly. That would probably sort you right out. How much do you overhead press, bro? How much do you incline bench? Alright guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.